Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be painting over this sketch spread that I did, and unfortunately that also means it's going to be 2 acrylic gouache paintings back to back, but I've been filming a lot of videos lately and none of them worked, and so I will be putting those away for later and doing another no pressure painting video for the sake of my sanity. So the way this works, if you haven't watched the other 2 videos from this series, is I'm just gonna paint this how I would normally paint this without a camera on me, and I don't know, I'm just gonna be talking about what I thought while I was painting. I really enjoyed the poses that they're doing. I think that they frame the square layout of my sketchbook really well, and so that's why I put these 2 sketches together. I really hope it won't be too long of a video, because it was a little bit of a longer process for me to finish both. But yeah, I used my very thins for the sketch, and I think the idea for the whole spread was for me to create 2 different paintings with 1 color palette, and I don't really want them to look like they match, but I want it to look like it isn't too out there that they're together in this spread. Because usually I like to plan out my spreads like this because I like how they look when I take a photo of them so I can post them. Initially I was just gonna do 3 colors for both of them, and it was ultramarine blue, deep yellow, and burnt sienna, so I could challenge myself, because usually I use like the primary colors in different variations. So I'd usually have a version of yellow, a version of blue, and a version of red in my paintings. For this one I just tried to take out the red completely, which is the worst idea for me because I love red so much and I like to have it in all of my paintings. And so I tried to add burnt sienna, because burnt sienna is very saturated and it's such a vibrant color that I wasn't expecting from a brown. But yeah, I did towards the middle use a red still, if you guys can forgive me for that. But yeah, since it was stressing me out too much and I really just wanted to see it, I used it. Hope you guys don't mind, but you know, that was the point for this painting, is to not stress out about it too much. And can I just say, I talked about it in my last video, but I really just love how acrylic gouache doesn't have any restrictions on the consistency. So for the dress, I went from thick paint to loose on top, so I can represent how the dress is a little bit sheer. And that's something that would have been really hard to achieve with regular gouache, because then you will mess up the thick paint underneath. I messed up a little with her face. The acrylic gouache just dried without me being able to blend it out, and it was because I forgot to blend it out quickly. I think it's because of how it reminds me so much of how regular gouache and watercolors work, because it's so finely ground and just lays down so beautifully. I forgot that I'm working with something that's very close to acrylics, and so I forgot to blend it out really fast. But I did like how this turned out initially, like this whole first painting. I like how everything looked, but there is something a little bit off about it that I did not just love. Maybe I think it's the color. I think the dress is too cool, and I tried adding yellow on the highlights because I did use very warm colors for her skin, and then just having this completely cool colors for her dress, I felt like it really bothered me. So I tried adding the yellow highlights, but I still felt like there was something missing on that one. But for now, I'm just moving on to the second one. I really loved the photo for the second one, and by the way, I have it in my Pinterest board, like all of my other reference photo that I used in all of my videos. I actually chose this reference photo first to draw before the first painting that I did on the left, so this worked out a lot easier than the first one. I think it was because I chose the colors of both of them with this picture in mind, and so it was easier for me to work out that palette into the painting. And also, I want to say something about how I talked before about really getting your brush clean while you're painting and just washing them consistently, because these paints might dry on your brush and ruin them. But I actually forgot to do that on one of my brushes, and I was really scared that I might have ruined it, but actually it didn't. I was still able to clean the paint off of it, so I don't think these dry like acrylics do when it's just like completely dry. I think this can be reactivated to a point, but yeah, I was able to save that brush, which is so great because I left the brush out for days, and yeah, I was really happy that it didn't really completely ruin it. But I still would recommend just cleaning out your brushes very thoroughly even while you're working, because even though I was able to save it, it took a lot of time for me to do so. And while I was trying to do that, some of my paints in the palette dried a little bit. I think it was because of the weather, because the last time the paints did not dry at all, and now that it's, I don't know, a little bit colder, the paints dried quicker than it did the last time. So yeah, just really be careful with that. Be careful with how you handle your brushes with these. I just love using the blue for the shadows, and then next to the completely warm highlights and the mid-tones for this piece. I also love how the sharp edges of the brush worked in showing the flow of the clothes in the wind. There was only one problem I had with this painting. I think it was with the face. Because it was next to the first one, I wanted them to have sort of like the same angle, and it bothered me that the head was far too small on this right one. And I realized that because while I was doing the sketching process, I tried to even both of the angles out a little bit so that they don't look too odd next to each other. But then when I went to the painting part, I was looking at the reference photos for the colors, and I didn't realize that I automatically reverted to the same angle that I did on some parts of her, and I didn't do that for the rest of her. But I did really love the colors on this second one, especially like this greenish yellow that I had it near the highlights. To this day, even after a few days after filming this, I still have no idea if I made the right decision to do the blue background on her. At first I thought I did love it, but the second, now that I'm watching it, I feel like now I have to do a background on the first one just to even both of them out. And then I did another risky move on the first one by taking out some of the cool shadows on her and neutralizing them so that it's not so purple. I used the same subdued greenish one on them, and on this one I'm not only changing the hues on the shadows, but I'm also slowly knocking out a lot of those sharp lines that I did with the small brush. Because when you look at the second one, there's not a lot of definitive lines. The only thing that makes the picture is the full brush strokes that I did, and I want more of that for the first one. I really don't know if that was the way to go, but that's how I did it. And at this point of the video, it's really just about experimentations and to have fun. And although it doesn't sound like I'm having that much fun with the way I'm talking, but I really did quite enjoy painting both of these. So that's how I did that. And on the right one, I finally found that excellent solution to the face problem that I did, which is just to cover it completely with this shadow color. I still think it worked out perfectly well with the rest of her. It would be weird if I didn't have that many thin lines on that part of the painting and then have it for her face. So that's how I'm justifying it, but I really did like the end result for this right one. Something I really like to do with my paintings is to add this very bright color right next to the highlights so it looks like the painting is glowing. I really love that bright orange that I did for the right one. But then on the left one, I think I did the yellow for that part of her, and now I know where I went wrong because that parts of the painting did not stand out at all because I used the same color for the background. With the right one, it worked out because blue and orange are complementary colors and they just make each other pop like that. But I think if I had used a more neutralized purple for the background on the right one, on the left one it would have worked. But then again, there's a lot of purple for her dress, so I just didn't do that. And so now for the rest of the painting, what I'm doing is I'm just knocking out more of those sharp lines for the left side because it really bothered me, and because I really like the look of the right one where it didn't have very fine lines. So I tried to do that for the left one, and then I just went in and added more of the blue to her dress because it really wanted to make it pop. And though I wanted these colors these paintings to look good next to each other, I did want one different color that would pop for both of the paintings. So for the right one it was the orange, and for the left one it was gonna be the yellow, but it didn't work out with the background, so I'm just going with the blue. I don't know, I still liked how both of these turned out. I like the right one a little bit more, but I enjoyed doing both of these paintings together. I actually learned a lot from this video. And now I want to take a little bit of time to talk to you about Squarespace. Squarespace is a powerful and beautiful online platform that you can use to build your own website. With it, you can connect with your audience, generate revenue through gated members-only content, and you can also manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights in just one easy-to-use platform. You can also display your posts from social media on your website and also automatically post your website content onto your social media so you can show them to your followers there too. But my favorite feature about Squarespace is what I use it for is to present your work with their very professional portfolio designs, and they have these customizable galleries. You can even add password protected galleries where you can share private work with clients, so this is perfect for delivering commissions. See, another nifty thing is image blocks. It automatically scales and fits your images to ensure that they always look right, irrespective of their placement within your content. So all you need to do is just double click on an image to see an overlay of the full image itself, and then drag that to ensure the best crop for your images or for your artworks. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your website, just go to squarespace.com/hamribart so you can get 10% off of your purchase of a website domain. Once again, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will be seeing you again soon.